Well, what are we fixing today? Today we're going to continue working on the van. Bad news about the backup camera. Due to circumstances beyond my control, I'm not going to be able to get in the back door because it's locked. And this thing has two keys. One of them runs the ignition. One of them runs everything else. We don't have the other key. Used van? What can I say? We're going to have to crawl through. I can show you why that's a problem. But I can show you progress. I did a little bit of tweaking on that mount, and I got the radio mounted. So you can see that. We're going to kind of put that back together. I'm also going to hopefully install the front-facing camera and install a switch. Told you about those. And then one more thing I found that I have that needs to be installed in here because this thing it's a wheelchair lift. You know, wheelchair lifts for people who have wheelchair lifts, they know. But wheelchair lifts that have electric stuff to run the lift and modifications are all tweaked. The electrical system is tweaked. This is a conversion van. You know, it's got the things down here. It's got the pretty things here. It's got the wood all over the place. Somebody who's not a factory person messed with the electrical system, which means there's always a leak. It just doesn't go. And if I'm doing an electrical system in a car, I'll know where things are and I'll know where the leak probably is. I bought this used. I didn't install any of it. I have no idea. So there's an electrical leak. I have a switch with a remote to kill the battery. It's not going to do well on the head unit, but hey, sometimes you need to do that stuff. It sits for a while, we're just going to shut it off. Anyway, let's get on to today's festivities. I still have the dash all apart. Well, if you look back there, you can see we keep this thing loaded for craft fairs. Craft fairs are awesome, as long as you don't have to reload and unload all the time. But the only way to get that back door open right now is to try to find my way through all of that. So I can't get in there. The camera has to mount on the back door, so we can't do the camera today, although I think I see how to do it. So now let's look at the head unit here. I'll show you what I did. You saw it last time and I'll add a picture of it here, I think. But where I took the bracket from the bottom of that radio that had the slide mounts here, these slide mounts. So this metal here is on the bottom of this radio. I took that off. I took it and I cut it off and lifted the edges up. So if you look at it from the bottom, you can see where I cut it off and then bent the ends up. And then I used that here to mount the radio. Now behind here, that only gave me one mounting place really. There's probably another one under here. But I decided that this bracket here, which you can also see over there, there, and there, this bracket was an L bracket that came with the radio that you could use to mount it in here. So you could mount this to the side, and then these ears stuck out here, and then you could mount it into something, right? Well, I didn't use those, so I took them and I flattened them out, and I mounted them to the radio like where they would be, and then I left the ears stick out back here, and then here it gave me a slot. See how it's a slot? I put a bolt in there, and I could take this and I could put it where I need, and I could tip it, pivoting on this point, which is there. So that's all mounted. I got the cable connected. I got the antenna on. None of that other stuff is going to be connected at this point. So, I don't have, I'm not going out to another amplifier. This would be going out to another amplifier. But a little tiny cable, that hooks there when it's time. But for right now, we got what we got. I'm going to take and I'm going to mount this in there, then put this all back together. Okay, so here's the dash. You can see I cut this out. Let's put the radio in. There we go. Pretty straight here, not bad. It's tipped a little bit down. Can't really do anything about that because it hits down here. So, that's in. This is going to be just left like this. And this is going to be, I don't know. I might line it with something because I might start to lose stuff in there. I have this thing. There, I just put that there. I think next time in, maybe I'll just mount this somehow. Meantime, we're just going to stick that there. But here's the dash. And I cut this out. This ends up going over the top of here anyway at some point. So I'm going to do a little bit of fancy woodworking and cleaning this up when I got my plastic welder. I actually cut this with the plasma cutter. Did you know you can cut plastic with the plasma cutter? Well, mine's got a Sparky self-igniter. Yep. We'll have to do a project with that sometime. With a Sparky self-igniter cutter. Use this. Okay, and this cable goes on here. Okay. And over here, there's something that snaps together. And we'll see if it does or not, or if I got to do some plastic welding and stuff and things. A little bit weak, but it kind of works. There. Hitting here a little bit. It's like a little clearancing. Clearance. I'm actually going to need to cut that off flush because otherwise it's a problem. All right, let's do that. I should just get a Dremel, but, things and stuff. I will have this apart again. Let's turn this the right way. Oh. It looks like it's still done. Yeah, we just get this mounted kind of like that. That'll do what I want it to. So I just got to mount it to double stick tape maybe to the bottom of the radio. Yep. That's what we'll do there. Okay. This goes here somewhere. Okay. All those are on. Now this one I can't put back on. This goes here. As you can see, it kind of covers things up. I don't know if this one's ever going back on. It probably will. I'll just do a nice cut job on this. Clean that up. This one I can put on. Let's just fire it back up. Make sure we're working. Then it goes up.
Deep Forest, with Bohemian Ballet, Marta's Song, and The Gathering. Tonight's showcase of artists gathered here on the Road to Higher Ground include Lucila Campos, Samba Torre, the Flying Bulgars, the Creole Choir of Cuba, Roxette.
I'm just not going to set anything up at this point, but
Homo Sapiens, Dorothy
it's working.
You also hear from Mandolin Man, Astor Piazzolla, Energy Afrobeat, and
Mute it down. And away we go. All right. That's it for that. On to the next. All right, the next problem was right here. We took this to the mechanic and said we had trouble opening and closing our doors. Mechanic said, well, buy me the switch and I'll change it because I can't get the switch anywhere. Well, genuine GM 158670774. Is it probably that? He says that switch is bad. And genuine GM parts says the switch is good. And look, it clicks. It actually clicks. I'll have a click up. Click down, another click up. I just got to figure out how to get in there. So, I see a couple screws here. Stick these out first. I think I got to get out that door card. I don't. A snapper on the bottom, probably. Yep. Hey, there's all that stuff. Something's been glued here. It's not a good sign. Cold. Glue is just kind of cracking. Well, I got the switch out, but the replacement wasn't the right switch. So I gave him some of this stuff. Now it's clicking. So let me see if this has maybe made a difference. With no key on, doesn't make any difference. So, doesn't make any difference. Doesn't work. I'm just going to take the switch out, and we'll see if we can find one. But seriously, I don't think this is the problem at all. Let's just put this all back together with the switch out. Okay, that all works. This doesn't work. I'm going to figure out what it's supposed to be doing and check if it's working. I think it probably is. But in the meantime, it goes in there. On with the next thing. So the next thing we're going to look at is this camera. I got a video for it up here somewhere. This camera, pretty simple install. We got the wires. It's getting cold out here, folks. See my breath? I have to guess that this is ground. Yep, so you can kind of see that. And I figured out a place to put this. Do another one. These are just medical alcohol wipes that we have around from medical reasons. Okay, let that dry. So I don't need any lower than that. I don't need any higher than that. Seems square enough. So that's what it looks like out there. Getting all this wire properly connected to this and jacked up in there. I can do that offline, you don't need to see that. Well, that's it for today's fun. Follow up on the first video, get the radio mounted. As you can see, a bit more of a close-up here. I think that looks pretty good. Should tip the right way. So you see a little bit of funky here, a little bit of funky here, but this I still have to double tape, and I'm going to double tape it right there, so that should be fine. And I gotta fix the wood so it gets the pretty wood like it is over there. And there, and there, and there, and there, and there. All over the place. Wood, wood, wood. This definitely is a woody. But other than that, there was one other thing I wanted to do. And if you look outside, it's dark. It's dead dark out there, so I'm not going to be able to do that. It's going to be a fairly simple one. So you might see it or might not. I do have a video of me putting a different one in, so I probably won't video this. I'll put a link up here somewhere. The video of me putting in one of those battery interrupters. I did that on my silver car. So you can look at that. And as far as taking care of the wiring, I just gotta kind of mush that wiring together and jam all this up into that hole. I don't know what this hole was for. I think a radar detector or something. But all I know is it's got power, and that's good. So we're going to use it. Other than that, that's it for today. Give me a like. Likes are awesome. Give me some watch hours. Take a look at some of my stuff. I have 140 videos out there, so lots to read, lots to listen, lots to watch. Take a look at some of those. Give me some feedback. Give me a comment. It's all great. Helps me out a lot on the channel. That's the best thing you can do to help me for free. Turn my videos on in the background and let them run. Play a playlist. That would be awesome. I need a few more hours so that I can get my so that YouTube lets me get money for ads. At this point, they say you don't have enough watch hours. You can't get money for ads. So all the ads you see now are helping YouTube 100%. Nothing for me. Other than that, I hope life sees you well. And next time, remember, if it gets too dark, give up. Bye.